Hello and welcome to the 1v1 show where pop culture and nerd culture clash. And if you're new here, what we do here is talk about a bunch of stuff regarding nerd culture and pop culture. And we start off by talking about a couple main topics where we dedicate 10 minutes talking about a certain topic, obviously. And then after that, we go into a Sports Center style news recap of the week follow like is filled with subtopics that we spend only about 2 minutes per topic. And so to start us off, Gio,
With
what
Gouda Main.
what can you tell us about the disastrous release of Cyberpunk?
Well, god damn it, man! What cannot be said about the disastrous release of Cyberpunk? Let me ask you something first, Mikey. Have you heard of Jason Schreier?
No, I've seen his name pop up on video game Twitter every now and then, but not really. Tell me about him.
So Jason Schreier is probably the foremost investigative journalist as far when it comes to video game media. Formerly of Kotaku, now he works for Bloomberg. And Jason Schreier put out a piece called "Inside Cyberpunk 2077's Disastrous Rollout." And in that piece, he says that after interviews with 20 something, no, I think he said 20 former and current staff members at CD Projekt Red, he said that the key, or not the key, but the reason why there was such a bad rollout was because of unchecked ambition, poor planning, and technical shortcomings. Quite frankly, a lot of the issues had to deal with the fact that a lot of people on CD Projekt Red believed that they could just push it out despite its problems because they made The Witcher 3.
So they were just going off of their own street cred, just
Exactly, they drank their own Kool-Aid.
oh, okay.
And not only that, so he goes on to list the projects, saying what the issues were, and kind of gives a general recap of what happened with the with the release, such as Sony and Microsoft and them not giving up or not giving refunds, even though CD Projekt Red said that they would allow people to give refunds. And then the key part of this is that one of the higher ups at CD Projekt Red, I believe his name is Adam Balkowski. He went on to make a statement responding to Jason Schreier, and in some of the points that Jason Schreier said, he disputed them. For example, he said that Jason Schreier in the article said most of the staff knew and openly said it wouldn't be released for release in 2020. Adam Balkowski responded, said, "You've talked with 20 people, some being ex-employees, only one of whom is not anonymous. I wouldn't call that most of over 500 people's staff." And then also said, a few non-Polish staffers shared stories about coworkers using Polish in front of them, which violated company rules, made them feel ostracized, they said. Were their coworkers talking shit about them? And then to respond to that, Adam Balkowski said, "Everyone here speaks English during meetings. Every company-wide email and announcement is in English. All that is mandatory. Rule of thumb is to not switch to English when there's a person not speaking a given language in a casual conversation." So there's a lot of back and forth between Schreier and Adam Balkowski on Twitter. And not only that, but Adam responded to saying, "Adam, I appreciate the responses. As I'm sure you're aware, the team declined to respond to my specific questions or provide an interview before my article went live. But if you'd like to give me your perspective on the topics you didn't cover here, I'd be happy to chat at any time." And then not only that, but Jason Schreier also mentions later that Adam Balkowski refused to answer some of the questions in the piece, that he kind of decided to pick and choose what to respond to.
Wait, so what were they criticizing exactly? Like just the overall disastrous rollout
The
of
overall
the.
disaster rollout, as far as kind of the overall work environment of CD Projekt Red when it comes to crunch, some staff members feeling ostracized, and things of that nature. I think for me personally, I feel like Jason Schreier kind of went into the whole environment of CD Projekt Red, where he could have just laser focused this onto just talking about the disastrous rollout. The work environment stuff, I think that could have been a separate piece or for something else. Because at this point, right, this allows Adam Balkowski or CD Projekt Red in general to kind of say, hey, this, you're wrong with this, and this, and just completely ignore the other criticisms about, kind of like drinking the Kool-Aid and not really putting out the game in full faith, saying most of the staff said that, or most of the staff that Jason Schreier talked to said that, hey, we knew this game wasn't going to come out, but then it kind of allows CD Projekt Red to say, well, you didn't talk to everyone, you just talked to a few people. So,
but how many people did he say he talked to?
20. And Adam Balkowski responded saying, well, that's not touching the nearly 500 people staff we have.
True. And were the people that he talked to any play significant roles in the company, or just all?
Well, when it comes to that, right, it is what's the word I'm looking for? It's anonymous, right? A lot of them are going to not want to respond or not want to have their name out there in fear of, getting fired, losing their jobs, and things like that. So, it's hard to say what roles they had. He did say they were former and current staff members, although CD Projekt Red, Adam Balkowski, said that you only talked to 20 and most of them were former employees. So, I think the thing is clear that we all can see that CD Projekt Red's rollout was a disaster. They sold what, 13 or 16? 13 million copies at $60 a pop. The game wasn't finished, and a lot of it was because of according to Jason Schreier, was because of their own hubris, right? And I think that's something to bring this to a greater topic, a greater conversation, right? We're kind of used to that now, and I think CD Projekt Red is the ones who get the guillotine because of the reputation they have, because of the reputation they have, because of the amount of hype and marketing that there was because of Cyberpunk 2077, and they just put out a product that was half finished, and we see this all the time, right?
Yeah, and we've seen this with many games that come back from bad releases into becoming good games.
Yes. I think you've mentioned before that EA and Battlefront 2 is now a much better game than it was when released.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty dope game if you're a Star Wars fan, because there's a lot of free updates that they give out because they felt bad, as they should have, for releasing a terrible the state of the game. And but now it's the game that we should have had on release, but it took maybe 8 months to get there. But now that the 8 months have already passed, the game that we know and love now is the updated game that we got. And there's other games like that too, which experienced that same thing, such as No Man's Sky, which had a very bad release. But now not everyone, but there's a good amount of people loving that game and claiming it as one of their favorite games of all time because of the open world type stuff.
All right, and we see this all the time. Like, we see it with Ubisoft games, EA games, Activision games. Not really any from the big three. I would see from Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, where they put out essentially a broken game or a game that's filled with microtransactions. There are games that they've released that are bare bones at first, and then they do add updates. But I think when it comes to Cyberpunk, the deal is that they put out a game. It wasn't that it was bare bones. It was that it didn't work. But Let me ask you this, Mikey. They put out a roadmap. Last week we talked about it, about Cyber Project Red's roadmap as far as DLC updates and patches and things of that nature. And they said that they won't put out DLC until the end half of this year, which some people want to debate whether or not that's feasible or even possible. But do you believe that people will care when that time comes, when it's all said and done? Or will, the attention span of our society now,
Yeah.
especially the people who play video games, there's always new games coming out. There's always something new to
It's
play.
very reactionary.
Exactly. So would people care?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to have the same experience as No Man's Sky. That's going to be a dedicated group of people that like just like stick with the game no matter what, and they're like, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Just wait, and hoping they'll be validated. But I don't know. I think a lot of the community, the internet and gaming communities, starting to already have moved on from Cyberpunk. I think we're getting Cyberpunk fatigue at this point. So I don't know if it'll be praised and welcomed back with open arms. I think once they do fix their own problems, they're going to be like, everyone's going to be like, well, good. That's the game we should have gotten a long time ago. I mean, it's like how I was with Battlefront. But yeah,
the difference is Kusha Strength in the chat says, I think it's also the fact that it was hyped for more than 8 years and they didn't really start production until 2018 or so. True. Yeah, and that's a good point. Because of the hype, because of the marketing machine, because the difference between not Battlefront, No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk 2077 is, No Man's Sky had the reveal on Sony's stage and they kind of hyped it up to make it seem like it was a bigger deal than it actually was. But Cyberpunk was something that was pushing into the mainstream. They got Keanu Reeves, who was a well-known actor.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is what pushed it straight up through the stratosphere in terms of like,
marketing. There were limited edition consoles. I think I saw a comment on the internet. I can't remember who said this, but there was like, somewhere out there's a limited edition Cyberpunk Xbox Series or Xbox One X. They can't even run the game. Sexbox. Anyways. I think that marketing push is what kind of pushed this to be an even more bigger fuck you to the consumer, because more people bought it than No Man's Sky, and there was way more hype surrounding it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, don't forget the limited edition gamer chair, said Acoustic String. Wait, there's a limited edition gamer chair?
They had limited edition gamer chairs. They were giving out bomber jackets at E3. They were, pulling millions into that marketing strategy.
Cyberpunk.
And it's not necessarily the marketing team's fault. They were just like, hey, we're gonna blow this into the water. Mm-hmm. We want this to be as big as possible. And when it comes to gaming companies, I don't believe that the dev team, the higher ups, and the marketing team are all in communication with each other at all times, that they're hand in hand. If anything, the executives just want to push money, or they want to push profit. So they're like, hey, marketing, you blow this up. Dev teams, y'all work as fast as you can.
Yeah, and everyone just like milk it.
Yeah, and honestly, and I said this last week, but I'm going to reiterate it this week. The game should have just been pushed back to this year. I was going to say next year, but last year is now into this year. Anyways, it should have been pushed back. They should have canceled the last gen edition, and they should have just kept it on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, and just kept it pushing. Because honestly, the vision that they had, even though they said it was for last gen, it's definitely not for last gen. Yeah, I don't buy it.
I think it was is it the Mario guy said like everyone won't forget a delayed game, but everyone will remember a terribly released game, or something like that. You know the quote I'm thinking about?
The actual quote from Shigeru Miyamoto is, a delayed game eventually comes out, and a bad game stays bad.
Yeah, that they should have followed that philosophy.
Yeah, they should have. Anyways, do you have any final words on this, Mikey?
No, just that. Also, I actually think it was the fans, the game community hyped it up themselves. But then again, Cyberpunk, or didn't do themselves any favors with their marketing. And I think
Yeah,
we
I mean,
just hyped ourselves too much to the point where like anything less than our expectations is going to be a shit show. And then when they didn't reach our expectations, it was an even more shit show, and we were just intensely mad. So like, I don't know. I just hopefully developers will learn from this and just delay your games instead of releasing them in terrible state.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's. I think you can also put a little bit of a blame. I don't want to say blame, but I think games media, games influencers, they also have to keep their expectations in check instead of blowing things out of proportion. Because just the final word on this, that we can't just go on the word of developers anymore. We should wait till the finished product to actually start saying, "Oh, this is going to be amazing." Like it's okay to be excited, but we should learn. This should teach us to keep our expectations in check.
Yeah, and that does it for our first main topic, which was Cyberpunk and their disastrous release. And then we will go into our second main topic, which is WandaVision episode 3. So, Gio, did you watch the episode?
Yes, sir. I did watch the episode. Actually, I watched it this morning before we went live.
Yeah, same here actually. Like I watched it like an hour before we went live.
Yeah, same here. Good shit. But WandaVision came out. I thought this was a much better episode than the first two.
Yeah, like I really liked how they're really good at recapturing the vibe and the feeling of these old shows. Like this is straight out of Brady Bunch, pretty much.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. This is a very 60s Brady Bunch type vibe, because the first two was very much what Bewitched, Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
I can't think of another example,
Oh,
but
by
it's
the way,
very much.
we're not spoiling anything. Just
Oh yeah,
FYI.
this is just kind of impressions with
Yeah.
no spoilers. So if you haven't seen WandaVision yet, don't worry about it. We're not gonna go over the plot points or spoil anything for you. Just kind of what we thought about it.
Yeah.
Because last week I think we both said that we enjoyed the episodes. I think you were a little higher up on it than I was. I said I enjoyed it, but it definitely felt like a slow burn.
Yeah.
And at times I felt like it was a little too much on the nose with the sitcom things, where it's like I want to see what's behind the curtain a little more. Right?
Yeah.
And I feel like they gave us that this week, right? Because it does it I wouldn't say it goes off the rails, but the armor is starting to show, the show is starting to show its hand a little bit more, and you're starting to kind of slowly, maybe not realize what's going on, but you're kind of realizing who's in play, who's. I'm trying to say this without spoiling anything big, but also who are the actors on this stage, and what roles do they play? Right? Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, very well said. I couldn't. That's a very good non-spoilery sentence you just said.
Thank you.
But
I try my.
But yeah, and then I think this episode is the first time I felt where this show is like, oh, okay, this is kind of like this is an MCU event, which is what Kevin Feige was saying for all of his Marvel properties, excluding the early Marvel shows like Daredevil and Agents of Shield. But yeah, he wants every Marvel property to be an event kind of thing, and this episode really like brought it up to that level, to where like actually not to that level, it's getting there, like to where the level of maybe Captain America 2, Winter Soldier. Like it's, you could see like, oh, the things that are happening in this episode could have big repercussions for the universe or multiverse.
Yeah, and I also think this is kind of the episode, like you said, where you feel like this is a Marvel event. Where if this was a Marvel movie, right? I feel like episodes 1 and 2 and the first half of episode, or I want to say episode 1 or 2, would be kind of the prologue before you get like the title card, and
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
episode 3 really felt like, okay, like we gave you kind of the prologue, we gave you a little hints here and there, but this is when we're really going to show you like, hey, this is the MCU and there's some stuff going on and you're going to want to be intrigued. And I would say that I was very much intrigued by this episode. I dug the vibe, all the jokes for the most part landed for me. And I got to say that we also, can't give enough credit to Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen for the fact that
Their performances are so good in this show.
right, they're nailing it, right? And I think the thing for me is that Wanda as a character, like, once again, no spoilers. Wanda as a character in the Avengers movies, she is from Sokovia.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right?
She's
So a very,
Sokovian.
very Eastern European accent,
I mean,
right?
it's gone now.
And it's gone now. It's very much American sitcom. Like
Yeah.
I can't even. I'm trying to think of how I can impersonate it, but I can't
And like,
even.
you killed my brother. And then now she's like, you killed my brother. Like,
It's very much like gosh darn it, Vision. I don't know. I
yeah, right.
can't do the accent. It's like, don't you know? No, that's Minnesota.
Oh,
Ah,
don't you know?
don't you know? No, but it's very much an American sitcom classic like accent, and it's very jarring because if you didn't watch the MCU movies before, if WandaVision is your first foray into the MCU, you would just assume that's her normal speaking voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't know anything what's up. And I think even me, like as someone who's seen almost, I think I've only not seen Captain Marvel. That's the only MCU movie I haven't seen. Um,
It's
but seeing,
You should watch it. It's worth watching, in my opinion.
yeah, I just I was in grad school when it came out and busy. And anyways,
Yeah, like
um,
it's basically Wonder Woman if Wonder Woman was good, because that
God
movie
damn.
was bad.
Okay, we're gonna get into this right now. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, um, even I forgot. Like, wait, like Wanda has an accent. She's from another country. That totally. Because also we haven't seen these characters in a while.
Hmm.
Because was this supposed to premiere last year?
Yeah, I think so. Or actually, no, I think it was always supposed to premiere
This
this
year?
year. Yeah, because it
Interesting.
was always a Disney Plus show,
Yeah, I think something
or
was.
maybe
I
it
think
might have been
Winter.
delayed because of COVID production
Yeah, I think
issues.
Winter Soldier and Falcon were supposed to be. I think May last year,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
I
no,
think
yeah, that was yeah. I got
and
delayed for sure.
WandaVision, I think was supposed to be like late last year, so it only got pushed back a few months.
Yeah,
So I didn't get pushed back that far, but
and then you mentioned how how her Elizabeth Olsen's accent changed from previous movies. But do you think someone has to watch all the previous Marvel stuff to get into the show? Like, could someone go into WandaVision fresh, or would they be confused
no,
as shit?
they would be confused as shit. I think
Well, because I was thinking of
WandaVision.
like telling my mom to watch WandaVision because she likes these old shows, and it has some like superhero elements. But I was wondering, I was like, wait, maybe it'll confuse the shit out of her. Like, wait, what was that at the end? The fuck?
Yeah, because does your mom have any knowledge of the MCU at all?
Nah.
Yeah, I don't know if this. I think she would. I think she would appreciate the kind of old timey homage to old TV shows from the 50s and the 60s, and then I'm assuming it's gonna keep going into genres. Like next week, they're gonna go into the 70s.
Yeah. What could they go for that? Maybe the Mary Griffith show or Andy uh, Dick Van Dyke show.
Good times,
Yeah.
the Jeffersons. Um,
Right? Is that the 70s? Right?
yeah, that's the
Okay.
70s. Yeah. Um, but I think Oh, sorry, I lost my track time. But she would appreciate the kind of winks and nods to those old shows and how they are, but the MCU stuff would probably just be lost on her because a lot of that show predicates on the knowledge that you watched Endgame and Infinity War, and
Yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah,
who Vision and Wanda are, you know their powers, and you know what happened in those movies.
yeah. Now that you put it that way, it's, yeah, you do need the knowledge of Infinity War. Actually, yeah, no, yeah, you do.
Yeah, Infinity War and Endgame, I would believe.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, you.
and plus, especially with this episode in particular, it references Age of Ultron, where we first got introduced to
Mhm.
Peter and Wanda, and yeah, they
A lot of Easter eggs in
yeah
this episode, which I
filled with Easter
appreciated.
eggs.
Yeah, actually, yeah, which I appreciated more this week than I did the first two episodes.
Yeah, the first two episodes, it wasn't. It was just like maybe a line here and there, and like, huh, I kind of caught that, like when Vision was like, "Oh, that dress is so Covian." I'm like, "Ha, I get it." And then, but this episode it was just filled with references from Age of Ultron, uh, Infinity War, I think, right?
Some stuff from from stuff from Spider-Man,
Wait,
Far
what?
From
Spider
Home.
Man?
Yes,
Oh, you have to tell me about that later.
yeah. Oh, just think of the end credits in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh shit. Yeah, okay.
yeah. So there's a lot of references there.
But yeah. So
But yeah,
I don't know. Is there or we still have 4 minutes, but here's a question: how do you think this sets up the next saga of MCU? Because everyone's saying, okay, the Infinity Saga ended with Endgame, and now we're going to the Multiverse Saga. Or is it officially called the Multiverse Saga?
I'm not sure if it has been. Here's the thing, right? So we know, no spoilers, but we know from what Kevin Feige has said in interviews that Wanda ends up at the doorsteps of Doctor Strange in the beginning of the upcoming Doctor Strange movie, the Mountains Multiverse of Madness,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think WandaVision, because when I originally heard that WandaVision was going to premiere before Winter Soldier and Falcon, that was a very strange move to me. I was like, well, originally you had Winter Soldier and Falcon first, so why would you not have them first again? Why would you put WandaVision first? And here's my reasoning behind this. I think Black Widow and the Soldier and Winter Falcon are meant to be kind of tying up threads from the last couple Marvel movies, from the first saga, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think WandaVision, the reason they're leading with this is because what you said, like this might be the beginning of the Multiverse Saga.
Right, that's
With
what the internet's
that,
calling it right now. For now.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and then kind of what we know from the casting of Spider-Man 3, with Alfred Molina coming back, Jake Gyllenhaal, Jamie Foxx, and I'm not sure if Tobey Maguire has signed on. Do you know?
No, there's lots of rumors about that, but it's not confirmed yet. Still.
Sorry, I always need more sleep. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts of like, I think WandaVision, the reason they're starting off with this now is because it is the introduction to what the new saga is going to be. And I think they're going to be a lot more far reaching because from what it seems to me, right? Feige
Mm-hmm.
and Marvel, when they planned out the MCU from the beginning, their original plan has already been fulfilled. It was the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Now that the original plan has been fulfilled, I feel like they're going to want to be more ambitious. And what Feige is going to be doing is he has this Multiverse Saga right now for Phase 4, maybe Phase 5. But I could really see him kind of sprinkling the seeds for the next saga after that.
Yeah,
Right?
he mentioned in an interview, I forgot where, that these sagas aren't going to be taking 10 years anymore. Like, he wants them to conclude in maybe 3 to 5 years. So, like, everything's going to be happening at a breakneck speed, which is pretty interesting and exciting.
Yeah, but then you also got to worry about, because what people applauded the MCU for was their world building, and if they try to move at a faster pace, you have the fear that they're going to start cramming too much things into one movie and then getting over bloated. I mean, I have faith they can do it. I feel like they've earned that trust.
I mean, they pulled it off with Endgame.
But if they're moving at a faster speed, we'll see.
Oh,
we'll see.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, final word on this, Mikey.
Oh, well, it's just that I'm just really, really excited for the next saga, the next phase. Phase 4? No, this is Phase 5, right? Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for Phase 5 of the MCU.
Sounds Gucci.
So that pretty much does it for our main topics for today. So we spent about 15 minutes for the first main topics, and then we follow after with a bunch of topics, starting with Justice League. And hold up. So, hi all. Hey, what's up, Master Killer? So, just to reiterate what we're doing here. So, every Saturday, we do the show, the 1v1 show, where we talk about nerd and pop culture. And we go through a bunch of topics, starting off with main topics. We spend about 10 to 15 minutes on those main topics. And then we see here, all these topics over here are subtopics that we will spend 2 minutes on. And we're going to start with Justice League. And so, turns out, doing great here, good sir. Thank you. Time for asking. Yeah, life is good. But yeah. So, Justice League is no longer a 4-part miniseries as we thought it was before, and Zack Snyder confirmed it himself, I think, on his website. And so now it's going to be released as a 4-hour movie, like as a singular 4-hour movie on HBO Max, the streaming website. And it was just crazy because fans have been campaigning for this for 3 years now since the movie came out. And it Joss Whedon took over, and then people wanted the Snyder Cut. And then it actually happened. It worked out because the reshoots cost them $30 million to reshoot. And now it's finally coming out this year, I think, right? I don't know. I have the release date on here.
It is coming out this year in March. And hey, what's up, Bet DP? What's going on? But yeah, it's coming out in March, I believe. And I'm excited for it. I know you're not big on DC, but
yeah, well, because I watched the Batman v Superman, the Ultimate Edition. That's my first time watching just the Batman v Superman, and I don't know, it wasn't that great. It made me not care for the Justice League movie. But since this is a 4-hour movie, I might rewatch it again. 1v1, yeah. It's a 1v1 show today.
1v1 show on Saturday, starting at 11:30 if we don't have technical difficulties.
Yeah. 11:30 a.m. PST, Pacific Time.
Yep.
And then, so that pretty much does it for Justice League. So, Gio, what can you tell me about Resident Evil?
Resident Evil. All right, so Capcom had a Resident Evil showcase yesterday? No, I'm sorry. It was the 21st. What's today? The 23rd? It was on Wednesday. It was on Wednesday. I got my dates all mixed up. But basically, they showed off gameplay. They showed off more about the new Resident Evil Village game that's coming out. The release date is in May 7th, I believe. Yeah, 2021. They have announced a couple of things like limited editions that come with, DLC as well as statues and things of that nature for the game if you want to buy those. And they also released they're going to release a combo pack, dual pack of Resident Evil 7 with the new Resident Evil 8, and which I might hop on because I never played Resident Evil 7 and I heard it's good. Did you play that, Mikey?
I know. I actually have it for PSVR, but I don't want to play it until I play all my other PSVR games, and also because I'm a huge pussy when it comes to horror games.
You bitch. Anyways, also they announced that they released a maiden demo for the PS5 only.
Ooh.
The maiden demo they said has no combat. It's strictly just kind of exploring, which is interesting. I'm sure it'll just be all scares. I'm excited because I did enjoy the RE7 demo they put out years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And also they announced Reverse, which is a free multiplayer kind of shooter game with legends from the Resident Evil universe for free if you purchase RE8. So that should be exciting.
Oh. And that's it all?
Yeah. I mean, there is a couple more things, but those are more of like, you can look them up on the website, kind of like what the DLC packs and stuff they're going to be releasing. Oh, one last thing. Actually, I did remember this. Division 2 is getting Resident Evil skins and a mission.
Ooh, what? That's dope. That is dope.
So.
Well, all right. Well, okay, and that will bring us to Godzilla vs. Kong. So, the movie is actually coming out sooner. It's actually coming out also in March. And there's actually going to be a trailer coming out tomorrow. And yeah, so it was originally just going to be released on HBO Max, I think, or on the streaming website. But now Warner Brothers has decided that they want to do both theatrical and streaming, which is interesting because they're still going after like theatrical releases for their films when the pandemic is still ongoing in America. So yeah, and then I think this might be maybe an example for the industry, like because will they do the same for Denis Villeneuve's? I don't know how to say his last name. Villeneuve's Dune, his movie Dune, because it got delayed to at the end of this year. It was supposed to come out last year, I think, right? No, it's supposed to come out this year, and it got delayed. Anyways, but they were thinking about doing the same for Dune, and so I think everyone, like all the entire Hollywood industry, is watching what happens with Godzilla and Kong because, yeah.
Who do you think is going to win, Godzilla or King Kong?
Oh, Godzilla all day, like.
Yeah, I agree. Gojira!
Yeah. So and oh yeah, Dune is supposed to come out this year in October.
Yeah, and I think also this HBO Max deal that they have in the pandemic is kind of a win for HBO Max because they can kind of flex on Netflix now and say, hey, we got movies that are coming out day and date from that were supposed to be in theaters.
Well, and that does it for Godzilla. And so there's a big weekend for the NFL tomorrow, actually. And so, Gio, tell us about these games.
All right. So as far as my predictions has been going, I've been pretty good so far. I went 3 for 4 last week. And that brings my overall. I've gone 8 and 10 so far in my predictions in the NFL playoffs.
Ooh.
So, if you want to bet money, you should listen to your boy, but don't hold me responsible. Anyways, this week we got 2 games. It's the division championship games, right? Mm-hmm. We have the AFC championship with the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. Now, both teams, both really good. Stellar quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was concussed last week in the game versus the Browns. He was out of the game for, I want to say, a little bit less than a half. And not only that, but he was in the concussion protocol until Thursday when he started practicing. So he's been cleared to play, but who knows how that'll affect him, if he has any lingering effects from the hit. But overall, I'm going to pick the Bills to win, mostly because I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. Next, we have a battle of two of the greatest quarterbacks in the league, Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. This has been an interesting game. Aaron Rodgers has been playing lights out. He's probably going to be the MVP, but Tampa Bay Bucks, on paper, they have more playmakers on defense and on offense. And Tom Brady has been slinging it pretty well for someone who's 44?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his age. So this is kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So I expect the Packers and the Bills to play in the Super Bowl, and those are my predictions on that.
Nice.
So, Mikey, tell me about Thor 4. What's going on with Love and Thunder?
So, this week was just announced that Matt Damon just signed on to appear in Thor 4, Love and Thunder. And which is interesting because he's already appeared in a Thor movie and a Marvel movie, and it was Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yeah, he was playing a guy playing Loki.
Yeah. And the question is, like, is he going to reprise that character, or is he going to be an entirely different one? And are Thor going to, Thor or Loki, because I'm assuming Loki could be in here, because, it's Thor's brother. Is Loki going to acknowledge, like, hey, that guy looks familiar? Like, I don't know.
I don't think Loki's going to be in it because he has his own TV show.
Yeah, that's true.
He canonically would be somewhere else.
Yeah, and also other casting news is Karen Gillan as Nebula, also confirmed to appear in the movie as well, along with Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so there's a lot of people coming back into this movie, even Natalie Portman, who we haven't seen since the first Thor movie, and because he didn't like her experience with it, from what I remember.
No, she was in the second Thor movie.
Oh, yeah, no, the second one. Yeah, and then she didn't like her. Oh, yeah, sorry. But yeah, and it was surprising that they got her back. And I don't know if it's spoilers. I shouldn't just mention, but they have something big in store for her, which is super interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for Thor 4. I love Taika Waititi. He is a great director. He's done, I want to say every Taika Waititi movie that I've watched, I've thoroughly enjoyed. And in fact, Home of the Wilder People is one of my top movies of the last decade.
Yeah. And so Gio, what can you tell me about Funk Master Flex, and he's listing his top MCs?
So Funk Master Flex, Mikey, are you aware of him?
I know the name, but yeah.
Legendary DJ from New York. You'd probably hear him yelling over hip hop mixtapes. I want to say probably in like the early, or in the 90s and the early 2000s.
Oh yeah, then most likely, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Master Killer in the chat had played one of his songs before. But anyways, go on. What about Funk Master Flex and his top MC?
So Funk Master Flex made a statement saying that if Drake last week he put out a statement saying if Drake wasn't caught having a ghostwriter, he would be the top living MC today. And a lot of people are like, "Yo, that's kind of a reach. That's a little bit of like you really put Drake above a lot of great MCs." So Funkmaster Flex put out a list of his top 50 MCs. Mikey, I'm going to read you the top 10.
All right.
Okay. Number 1, Jay-Z. Number 2, Andre 3000. Number 3, Nas. Number 4, Drake, Rakim. Number 5, Drake. Number 6, J. Cole. Number 7, Kendrick Lamar. Number 8, Pusha T. Number 9, Jadakiss. And number 10, Black Thought.
Oh, now, is this all time?
No, of living. Of alive.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's not a bad list.
See, I don't have a problem with the names on the list. One note to make, though. Next to Drake, he has an asterisk that says questionable pen. because Drake is
Oh
known,
yeah.
or Drake got found out using ghostwriters. He also has one more person with a asterisk, and that's at number 17, Kanye West, who is known to use ghostwriters.
Yeah.
But I don't have a necessarily problem with the names, but the order, definitely question the order. I would definitely put Kendrick Lamar over J. Cole.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, definitely, yeah. Like I was just thinking, like
definitely.
just being on the list in general. But yeah, no, if that's in order, then yeah. Okay, then yeah,
Whoa,
there's some issue.
hold on. Master Kill in the chat says number 4 is questionable. Yo, you talking about Rakim the God? Are you kidding me, dog? Yo, man, you gotta study them tapes, dog. If you think Rakim shouldn't be on that list, dog, you gotta listen to Paid in Full.
Not at number 4.
Oh, okay. If you saying Rakim should be higher, then I fucks with you, dog. Because Rakim should definitely be at like, well, maybe not. You know what? I don't have a problem with Rakim at 4, but yeah, top 3. I fucks with you. I fucks with you. All right, moving on.
Yeah, no, Master Killer, he has great taste in music.
All right, I fucks with you, Master Killer.
All right, so turns out there's going to be a origin story for Willy Wonka and his chocolate factory. So the producer, David Heyman, who's behind the Paddington films, which are apparently really good movies. Have you seen Paddington?
I've seen the first one, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and people are saying like the second one is even better,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Like to people who have seen it, because the first one is already amazing in itself. And this guy also produced Harry Potter. So
interesting.
there's a lot of I want to say hype. There's a lot of interest behind this project, but do we need an origin story for Willy Wonka? I don't know.
We don't need a lot of things, Mikey, but we're
Yeah,
gonna
true.
get them regardless.
A bit overacted role in the original movie, really. Yeah, a little bit. But who do you think could play a young Willy Wonka? People are thinking either Tom Holland or Timothy Chalamet.
Nah, Michael Cera.
Oh shit, that's actually a really good choice.
I think Michael Cera should play a young Willy Wonka, and I think they should come in from the angle of Michael Cera not fully being Wonka. You show him kind of being a little bit more of a timid young man. You know, not to typecast Michael Cera, but I'm typecasting Michael Cera.
Yeah.
And kind of growing into that kind of more magical, fantastical role. And plus, when's the last time you see Michael Cera in anything?
The last
Give
time I
the man
saw him was
some
like he was playing a bad guy with the mustache. I forgot what that movie.
There's Youth and Revolt.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so yeah, Willy Wonka origin story is coming out in 2023, whether you like it or not. So, or on his game, Edward Norton.
Edward Norton might be a little too old for the role, though. I mean,
Oh yeah,
but
no,
I,
it's
you
more
know,
an origin story. Yeah, like
yeah. But Edward Norton, fuck, he could do any. If Edward Norton is a fucking great actor. If when he's on his game, he could do anything.
well, speaking of games, so apparently Nintendo is in a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, and it's not the only one.
Really? Tell me about that one.
I like the picture you put up. But yeah, Nintendo's got some splaining to do. You feel me?
How come?
Are you aware of what JoyCon Drift is?
Oh yeah. It's one of the most common complaints with Nintendo Switch.
Right. Man, and maybe I should have brought my Switch up so I could have showed the audience. But the Joy-Con controllers. Actually, I might have one at arm's length. No, I don't. Okay. Wait, I do. Actually, I have one at arm's length. Aha! Perfect. Joy-Con controller. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're playing a game, right? Sometimes the controller stick will move by itself, like slowly to the left or slowly to the right, where your character will move by itself, and you just don't know what to fix it. There's some people online that say that you can fix this by like blowing air into the bottom of the analog stick, but just won't work. Anyways, what Nintendo is being sued for is that they haven't provided a permanent solution, a permanent fix to this. And so they have been offering people free repairs. You can send it into Nintendo at no cost, and they'll fix it for you and then ship it back. But then you will be without a controller for uh, I want to say 2 weeks is the time.
Mm-hmm.
And me, I own several pairs of Joy-Cons. I own 3 pairs, and I want to
Damn.
say 2 out of 3 pairs of Joy-Cons of mine have experienced Joy-Con drift, and so they're getting sued by this firm in Quebec, saying that they basically sold a faulty product. They're being sued in Canada and the United States, and as well as I want to say parts of Europe. So Nintendo's got some explaining to do. Hopefully they can fix it, but we'll see.
All right. So, oh, is that it?
Yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. And Master Killer says it's an easy fix. It's not a faulty product per se. It's just technologically speaking. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that statement, but the fact is that lawyers are going to try to get some money out of it, but we'll see.
Like, what do you? Anyways. Moving on. A wild new streaming service appears, and it is called Paramount Plus, and it's going to launch in North America on March 4th. And according to them, the upcoming launch of Paramount Plus is part of the service's expansion to feature content from Viacom CBS leading portfolio of broadcast, news, sports, and entertainment brands. And so basically what they're trying to do, Viacom is trying to make Paramount Plus like their own HBO Max. And they could release their movies on there, like Paramount films such as A Quiet Place 2, Top Gun 2, that's being released, I think, this year. And also the new G.I. Joe's movie, Snake Eyes.
The new G.I. Joe movie?
Yeah, they're making Snake Eyes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, online VOD platforms are the future. They are. And
yeah,
which is crazy with this streaming service, like, because they have a lot of their properties on a bunch of other streaming services like Netflix. Netflix has like the entire How to Train Your Dragon franchise, which is actually a really good franchise. If you guys like animation, I highly recommend it. But yeah, so they'll take that off of Netflix and put it onto Paramount. Like, I was looking at their filmography, or like the stuff that they have. Paramount has a lot of stuff, so I don't know. I think like all these services competing with each other. I don't know about if Paramount Plus's properties entice me enough to subscribe. What about you? Would you subscribe?
If depends on a price point, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're talking Disney Plus price, which is like what, $4.99 a month, $5.99 a month, maybe. But if you're going like Netflix, $15 a month, I ain't fucking with it. But then again, people find out a way to watch shit. We share accounts or through other means.
Yeah, and also they could release award-worthy movies like how Netflix has been doing, like because Paramount owns True Grit and The Fighter. But anyways,
cool.
So moving on, Gio, what is this about the DC universe and what's going on with them?
All right, so DC Universe Unlimited, before they're rebranding essentially. DC Universe beforehand was a online platform, a streaming platform that DC had for its products. So they had Young Justice Season 3, as well as their classic animated shows. They had some of their classic shows like the Wonder Woman show, the Flash show, and they had new original programs like Titans and Doom Patrol. I heard Doom Patrol was good. I actually heard both of them were really good, Doom Patrol and Titans, even though Titans looked yikes. But, bad costumes aside, I heard it was pretty good. And they had an online platform for their comic books. Now, DC has decided to move all of its content as soon as, such as original video, original shows, movies, things of that nature. They've moved it to HBO Max, and they decided to rebrand DC Universe Infinite as a strictly comic-based app. Marvel has one too, don't they? Marvel...
Yeah. I think it's Marvel Unlimited.
Unlimited, right. So DC Universe Infinite, essentially kind of almost the same name.
Yeah, right.
Is they're going to have pretty much their whole back catalog, including the Vertigo, Wildstorm, and Black Label print comics, online, as well as they're going to have new releases as well. In the old DC universe, you had to wait a few months before they started putting the new titles on their app. So it's just a more comic focused brand, which might seem interesting. Depending on the price point, I might hop into it myself, but I also really enjoy buying the physical copies. Right?
Yeah.
So
Same here.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll check it out as far as the price point and see if I want to hop in, but yeah, we'll see.
Master Killer says everything the franchise produced, most probably yes. Might be a film brand as well when needed, like the MCU. But so yeah, that brings us to the end of the top. Oh wait, no, it doesn't, because that's not the end of it. We have a whole nother set of topics here, and we're gonna go through them, starting with Dave Chappelle getting the coronavirus. I think this was announced a day or two ago. He was performing in Texas when he tested positive for COVID, and he was supposed to do some shows with Joe Rogan, but they all got canceled now because he has COVID. And I don't know. I can't really say I'm surprised because Dave Chappelle's been performing at shows throughout the entire pandemic. And like you even saw like a Netflix special, which is actually pretty good. I highly recommend everyone to watch his Netflix specials. Like he has, I think, 4 or 5 of them now. But yeah, he filmed one of them during the pandemic and talking about like, relevant stuff. But and he smokes during these shows too. So I don't know. Like I can't really say I'm surprised that he got it, but it sucks that he did. And and whatchamacallit, he was photographed with Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and Grimes, and where they both Elon Musk and Grimes had coronavirus, right?
I'm not sure.
Oh well, yeah, I think it was like 5 days before he tested positive. So yeah, and and other COVID news. I just found this out today. Larry King. I don't know if it's about COVID related, but Larry King passed away in like a week or two ago. He contracted the coronavirus. But yeah, so that sucks. Like Larry King, good interviewer, but yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. Larry King, a broadcasting legend.
Yeah. And then so pretty much my last word on this is just wear a mask. Just so you don't, in case you have it and don't spread it. But anyways, so Gio, you were talking about Suicide Squad earlier. What can you tell me about this spin-off show?
Yeah, so James Gunn, The Suicide Squad, not related, but related to the 2016 Suicide Squad film. It's kind of a rebrand, not a sequel. Anyways, semi-sequel. James Gunn has decided he wrote a 1-season prequel show exploring who the Peacemaker is. The Peacemaker in The Suicide Squad is going to be played by John Cena, and he is described as a character who is willing to do anything for peace, no matter how many people he has to kill. A little bit of some irony going on there.
Yeah.
Right? The Peacemaker, if you don't really know, he's actually who the character of the comedian from the Watchmen series is based off of.
Oh,
you remember that movie, right?
Yeah,
every character in the Watchmen is actually based on an old Charleston comic character. Like, the comedian is supposed to be the Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Manhattan is Captain Atom. The Night Owl is the original Blue Beetle. But anyways, James Gunn has written and produced a show for HBO. It's going to be, I believe, 10 episodes? Either 8 or 10 episodes. Oh. And he said he wrote it in 8 weeks.
Yeah, he wrote it during, while he was bored in the pandemic, from what I've read. And then he showed it to executives, and they like, all right, let's get the ball rolling. Within 3 months, they started production, which is crazy.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. James Gunn has earned my excitement. And they're already filming, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah, they're currently filming right now.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see how that comes out. We'll see. We'll see. And also seeing more John Cena being as a crazy psychotic person might be fun.
Ooh.
So, anyways, Mikey, tell me what's up with Game of Thrones and how is it not going to disappoint this time?
Well, they're going all in on Game of Thrones because we're not just getting a prequel show about the Targaryens. We're also getting, actually, we don't know if we're getting the show, but another prequel show is in development. Oh wait, whoops, I forgot to put on the timer. Another prequel show is in development called The Tales of Dunk and Egg, which follows the adventures of Sir Duncan the Tall and a young Aegon Targaryen, who is Egg, which takes 90 years prior to the events of A Song of Ice and Fire. And so it was pretty interesting. And I don't know about fan interest in Game of Thrones anymore because it was super popular. Then the last season happened and it pretty much just got like disappeared out of the cultural consciousness. Like no one even talks about it anymore. So I don't know if they'll receive the same success as the original show because turns out the writers D&D didn't know what they're doing, but I don't think they're involved with this one. But
No?
yeah, and so the other prequel show called House of the Dragon, which is about the Targaryens, is coming out next year in 2022. And just
Okay.
because this show is in development doesn't mean it'll move forward. So like keep in mind like Guillermo del Toro projects, like he has
God.
yeah, he's announced a ton of them which sounded amazing, but they never get off the ground. So like
Rest in peace, Justice Dark.
this is the Tales of Dunk and Egg is in the same stage. So just because it's in development doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it is interesting. Like that's what they have in mind to give for the fans. So yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I will watch it like when it comes out. Maybe I'll wait for the entire season to happen, but we'll see.
Wait on what people say.
Yeah.
Worth watching.
All right. So Gio,
What's up?
what's going on with the Activision here?
Fucking Activision, man. Like, okay, so Activision.
Oh.
Anyone who plays video games, who is kind of into that culture, which I'm assuming people are if you're watching it on Twitch or even YouTube, right?
Mhm.
All of you know the name Activision. You think of one thing: Call of Duty. Then after that, you think, "Fuck Activision,"
Yeah, whatever.
right?
Hmm.
Activision has a reputation for being nothing but money-hungry, greedy publishers. And they have decided to merge Vicarious Visions with Blizzard. Now, Vicarious Visions, for those of you who don't know, they made Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2,
Hmm.
which was widely heralded as a return to form for the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. They were able to remake the games and put some quality of life improvements, upgrade the visuals, and people generally enjoyed it. In fact, if you remember, Mikey, from last week's MPD numbers, that game was actually number 19 on the highest selling games of the year. So it did pretty well, right?
Yeah.
And to reward Vicarious Visions for their hard work and creating a profitable game and creating a well-respected game in a series that people love, they're like, hey, we're going to basically take your autonomy away and merge you with Blizzard, right? So who knows what they're going to be doing now? I mean, Blizzard honestly hasn't been doing great the last couple of years. People are not happy about the Diablo mobile game. The World of Warcraft 3 Classic was a shit show. But, you know, it just sucks because now they've been Vicarious Visions, who have done a lot of great work. They've been absorbed into Blizzard. And, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they took notes from EA, Master Killer said.
Yep. You know, they're hand in hand. Hand in hand.
Yeah.
Best final word on that.
Okay, well then,
Sorry, I took a bite of food.
yeah. So in the news, Star Wars, crazy news. If you're a huge Star Wars fan, Thrawn has been casted and is going to be played by the voice actor of Thrawn that was in the Star Wars Rebels. So this is really exciting because the voice actor is Lars Mikkelsen, Mads Mikkelsen's brother, who is they are both good actors in their own right. And now we're going to finally going to see Thrawn in live action. Oh man, I'm so hyped. Like I have so many Star Wars books as you can see, and like I have 4 Thrawn books, and yeah, I'm super excited. And yeah, so like we already know that there's going to be an Ahsoka spinoff. There's going to be a Boba Fett spinoff, and there's a bunch of other TV shows. Like, anyways, and yeah, and a lot of people, I think, well, in the Star Wars community is pretty excited. But a lot of people wanted an actor like Benedict Cumberbatch or Michael Fassbender to play Thrawn because they have that evil voice and presence. But I think Lars Mikkelsen is going to pull it off. And
I was personally hoping for Vince Vaughn.
yeah, sure. And it is interesting because they've done this before with The Mandalorian, with Bo-Katan, with Katie Sackhoff. She voiced her Bo-Katan's character in the Clone Wars TV show first, and then once they brought it to live action, they hired her to reprise her cartoon role into live action, and then they're doing the same thing here. And so I think he's going to appear in the Ahsoka show because if you've seen The Mandalorian, she references him. And so the big news left is who's going to be cast as Ezra, who's another character in the cartoon show. And yeah.
Oh, I know. Dev Patel.
Shut the hell up.
From Last Airbender.
Shut up. But yeah, anyways, this makes me really excited for Star Wars Celebration now because I'll probably see Thrawn in the flesh. Anyways.
Good shit.
So yeah, Gio, back to video games. What's going on with Sony?
All right, so Sony Santa Monica, the studio that you may most recently and most famously know for God of War, which people herald as probably the best PlayStation 4 exclusive game that neither me or you have played yet, even though we both love Sony and PlayStation.
And we both have the game because we
both
have the PS Plus collection.
We haven't played it yet. Yeah, we literally have no excuses now. And then God of War 2 has been announced. It's been announced for this year, so we should probably get on that. But what if I told you, Mikey, that they're also working on something else?
Like what?
Well, we don't know, but according to a LinkedIn job posting ad, they are looking for I believe a environment designer to work on a game for Sony Santa Monica Studios, an unannounced game that has something to do with monsters.
Monsters.
So that could be anything, right?
Yeah.
Could it be like a big sprawling Monster Hunter type game?
That's the first thing that came to my mind when you said that.
Right. But we don't know. It could be anything. I don't assume it to be a established IP. I would assume that Sony Santa Monica is also working on something new. And I'm not particularly well versed on how big their studio, their team is. But, if I was working on God of War 2, then I would put all my resources towards that. But, we'll see. Naughty Dog famously was able to work on Uncharted 3 and The Last of Us 1. Mm-hmm. At the same time, maybe Sony Santa Monica can do something similar. But time will tell.
Or maybe we'll get a God of War Battle Royale, like Zombie Bates in the chat said.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Mikey. But speaking of Battle Royale, hit me with some UFC news.
All right, so there's going to be a UFC tonight, and it's UFC 57 featuring Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor. And it is Conor McGregor's first fight in over a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because this is his first fight since he fought Donald Cerrone and he beat him within 60 seconds, I believe. And then and also wait, whoops, sorry, I forgot to add the timer. And
BRB.
yeah, and so we also got Daniel Hooker and Michael Chandler, who are both top 5 contenders. So this is pretty much like a UFC lightweight tournament going on, sort of. And the winner of these fights could probably fight for the lightweight belt or championship next, which is what Khabib had. And there's also talks of Khabib might returning to fight the winner of Dustin Poirier for Conor McGregor. We don't know yet, but it could happen because they just had a meeting last week. Khabib and Dana White, so Khabib might come back. We're not sure. And there's also another fight, a girl fight, Jessica Ai. She was a title contender fighting Joanne Calderwood. She's a really, really dope kickboxer, and she has a voice that I really like. And it sounds super creepy when I just said it, but like, seriously, like, her voice is like, you would not expect to hear that from a fighter. But yeah. And also, Dana White said on the news that they're following this one guy, a streamer, and like he has something in mind for the streamers that are going to stream the fight today. And he's like, "I'm gonna get you fuckers. We got one guy right now. One T presses his stream, we got him." So I guess the pirate community just took that as a challenge, and now people who weren't streaming the fight are probably going to now. And yeah. But anyways, speaking of streaming the fight, I'm going to be streaming myself watching the fight later today. So if you guys want to come back to my Hyphy Solo stream later to watch the fights with me, that would be cool. Because I'll look at each fight from a casual perspective and see why each fight is exciting. So yeah, and that is that for hold on. Yeah, that's UFC. So, did you hear about the news about Xbox? I think you did. Tell me about that one.
So Xbox, right? Man. So yesterday it was announced that they were going to raise the price to Xbox Live Gold. They were going to double it in price. It was going to go from $60 for a year to $120. Right?
Oh, yeah.
A big jump, right? And here's the thing. Gamers, when they get mad about something, they are very vocally loud. Whether it be being mad at something for the right reasons or being mad at something for the wrong reasons, they can be a really loud bunch. Now, Xbox has been getting a lot of goodwill for a lot of the pro-consumer moves that they've been doing, be it Game Pass or how the Xbox Series X is going to be cross-gen, and they seem to be doing all the right moves. But I feel like they were kind of risking reversing all of that goodwill and doubling the price of Xbox Live with Gold. Yeah. So, in order to earn some goodwill, it was late yesterday, I think it was late yesterday, that it was revealed that they reversed their decision on it and decided not to raise Xbox Live with Gold. Now, this isn't the first time that Microsoft has reversed a decision on something.
What was the last time?
When they decided to not make the Xbox One X fully online, always online.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Right. So we'll see. I think if it was Nintendo or Sony, I think they wouldn't have budged. They would have kept it at that price. Xbox is trying to go for a more pro-consumer, pro-gamer move, but we'll see. We'll see how these play out. We'll see if they do anything else to piss off the fans. But it's good to see them listening.
Yep, that's good to see. Last time we saw that happen was Battlefront 2, EA.
But speaking of fans, Mikey, tell me about how fans of the Olympic sports will not be able to go to Tokyo.
Well, that is because, they can't go to Tokyo now because of coronavirus, and they have very strict coronavirus rules. And because of that, Japan has quietly concluded that they should cancel the 2021 Olympics, which sucks because me and you were actually planning on going to Japan around this time.
Dog, I'm taking a Japanese class.
Yeah, and like we were planning a Japan trip for this summer, but COVID hit, and we don't know when we could go there. And they talked about like they think they might postpone the Olympics to next year, but they're not sure. And this raises huge questions about the Olympic Village because they built that up and they have to maintain that. Are they going to maintain that for the next year, or are they just going to abandon it or something? Like, because I think the Olympic Village was created, just for the Olympics, obviously. So, yeah, and which is a huge blow to Japan because all the tourism money that they could get. And also a huge blow to the Olympic committee, even though they're super evil and shouldn't. Yeah, super.
Yeah, fair. So, I feel bad.
I feel bad for the athletes.
The athletes, and I feel bad for the people of Japan because that's a lot of money their country is losing out on.
Yeah, and hold off for another 2 or 4 years, even these athletes are going to get out of their prime. And some athletes even sat out the Brazil Olympics because of the Zika virus. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were hoping to come back for this one, but now the coronavirus hit, and it sucks because they're not able to reach these gold medals. But speaking of Japan, what's going on with in the world of anime?
All right. Where do I fucking start, Mikey? Crunchyroll has released the nominations for the Anime Awards, and I have one thing to say. Mikey.
What? What is that?
Wait,
you have a waifu?
Garbage.
You have a waifu pillow?
Yeah, I got one for Christmas.
Anyways.
But fucking basura, man. Okay, so I looked up Anime of the Year, right? I'm looking at the nominations. Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken, Jujutsu Kaisen, Great Pretender, Beastars, Apara Ranman, and Doro Hidoro. I know I mispronounced a lot of them. I'm speaking fast because of the time. But how the fuck is Rent a Girlfriend not on that list? All right, best opening sequence. How is Centimeters by the Peggies not nominated for best opening?
Sorry.
That song is fucking amazing. It was the best song of all last year in Japanese and English, in Spanish, Korean. I don't give a fuck what language. Y'all can kiss my ass. Fuck you, Crunchyroll. This is some bullshit, right? The only saving grace from this nomination list, because I went through it and gotta say I fucking hated everything, right?
Wait, why?
Because there was I didn't agree with any of the nominees.
Okay, and
the only saving grace is that Shizuru Mizuhara was voted in or was nominated as best girl, and if she doesn't win, I will throw a fucking fit. I will fight someone. I see the judges. I see y'all. We gonna have words. Words will be exchanged, and there might even be fisticuffs online.
Oh, when are the awards gonna happen?
You know what? I was so angry, I forgot.
Zombie Bait says the Crunchyroll awards are crap.
A Zombie Bait is right. I totally agree. But February 19th at 5 p.m. is going to be the Anime Awards.
Oh, do you want to do a live watch?
You know what? I might be too triggered. But yeah, that's enough. That's enough of that. Fuck Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Well, wait, what about the Annie Awards? Isn't that, or is that for American animation? I don't know.
No, that is the Annie Awards.
Oh.
No. I'm sorry. That the Annie Awards. I don't know when they're releasing.
Yeah.
But we can. Oh, those are not till April 16th.
All right, so that does it for all of our topics today. Talk about a redo of a healer.
Maybe next week, Laban.
Yeah.
Or Zombie Bait.
Oh, is that an anime show?
Yeah, and I heard it's pretty out there.
Interesting. Oh yeah, Gio will probably watch it. But yeah, so anyways, that does it for our 1v1 show. So if you're new here, what we do is, we every Saturday at 11:30, even though we had technical difficulties today, we talk about a variety of topics. Main topics, spend about 10 to 15 minutes. And then, as you just saw with our subtopics, we spend about 2 minutes on 10 to 20 topics. And and also, we have some announcements that if you don't like Twitch or YouTube, we're streaming on both. So you can pick on either one. And that's because I'm no longer trying to get Twitch affiliate, because I found out that's a bullshit thing to do. If you sign up for Twitch affiliate, you can't stream anywhere else and whatever, and they take half of your money. And so screw that. Twitch ain't gonna be my pimp. So with that said, if you guys like the show or want to support us financially, which you don't have to, just showing up in the chat is more than enough. It gives us reason to do it, just to see that interaction. But if you would like to support us on financially, we have a Patreon. We have tiers. I don't know how to show my screen, but let me read the Patreon tiers. Oh shit! I didn't even put it on. The 1v1 at patreon.com/the 1v1 show. So we are tiers. What the hell? Sorry, I'm still reading the thing here. Wait, what? Okay, so got first tier, $2 tiers. We'll get access to an exclusive podcast. Me and Gio will do a podcast, talk about personal stuff rather than pop culture, and we'll talk about ourselves. So
it'll be a little bit more free form.
Yeah. Just shooting the shit, just us talking, whatever. And then the next tier, $4 a month, you want to submit a topic or the subtopic, and you'll also get a roll credit. We will show your name at the end of every show. And then we also have raffle entries for $5. Every month we will do a giveaway. I don't know. We're not going to do one this month, but for February we have one. I think we're doing Funkos, right?
Yeah, we're doing a Funko Pop for February.
Yeah, and then we have other prizes in mind, other than Funko Pops. We might even have a PS5 game to give out. Who knows? And anyways, so that's for the $5 pledge if you guys want, and also for $10 a month, there's main topics. You can spend 10 minutes or more on any topic that you choose. And for the last tier is $50 a month, which I doubt anyone will do, is you replace me as a co-host. So it'll just be you and Gio hosting the show, and I'll just focus on broadcasting.
Gang shit.
Yeah. So that pretty much, that's all the announcements we have, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so yeah, if you're watching live, stick with us after the credits, for 30 seconds, and we'll just shoot the shit, whatever. But yeah, so our socials are on top left. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, or Patreon, or also we on our Discord. We have a channel for the 1v1 show where we post pretty much. We use that as our notes for stuff that we want to talk about. You guys can I don't know, you guys can go in there as well. But anyways, so that does it for our show today, and thank you for watching. And this is Mikey along with
it's your boy Gio _Huey _Flow. Follow me on that IG.
And then it's the 1v1 show. Thank you guys for watching.
Deuce. Yo, that beat slaps, dog. That should go hard. Well, minus technical difficulties, I think that pro went pretty well. Right? I like the format we have now. It seems it goes at a good pace. Yeah. And yeah, man. Yeah.